this year was very tough, and I mentioned to Steph that and Johnny, one of my close childhood friends that I grew up with, played football with in college, called me out of the blue and said he was diagnosed with ALS, and you know, kind of hit me like a ton of bricks, like he did everybody else, and like any other thing, you think about what the treatment is. And I talked to him, and he said, Bobby, there's really two options here. You go home and get your affairs set in order, or you take another step and you think about what you're going to do with the time you have left. And not many of you know my friend Kevin, but he chose to do everything he can with the time he had. So he created a foundation called ALS ONE and got the researchers together to really work on the treatment and focus on that. For the first time ever, got the governor of Massachusetts and leading researchers. So I'm proud of him. It's incredibly personal because a year ago, he was just like everybody else, and a year later, he's in the situations he's in. So it's grounding, and you know, I wanted to introduce quickly my godson, his son, Scott Gosnell. So I'm pleased to have him here.
First off, I just want to say thank you so much to the Friends of Sean Lugano on behalf of my family, for ALS ONE and the ALS Nights. I just want to say thank you so much for choosing ALS ONE as a fundraiser. This is really important to us, the family. And I'm just up here to talk today on behalf of my dad almost, just to tell you guys a little bit about his journey and how he came about with ALS ONE. So a little bit about my dad. He's an amazing man, very successful business person. He started his own company in college to pay for college, and he grew it throughout his young 20s and decided like that's what he wanted to do with his life. So he grew his business. Everything was great. He had a perfect childhood, like very caring parents, loving, really amazing man. And all of a sudden, so he was on a trip with my brothers in New Hampshire, and he had a pain in his calf. And he had a pain in his calf, and he thought it was a little bit weird. Nothing happened. We went away in February on a family trip, and he was just a little bit off, and you could tell he was a little bit off. So we went to the doctors. They thought it was a statin at first, and over time, started narrowing things off, and he got the diagnosis in May that he had ALS. I graduated high school in May from BC High, and then went on to Colby, and he kept it from himself. Kept it to just him and my mom only during May that he had ALS. And so he told us in July that he had ALS. And of course, if you're told that your dad, your best friend, your role model, anyone has ALS, it's earth-shattering. He's always been the best father, and he's an amazing man, like very grateful to have him in my life. And of course you're thinking like everything's just falling down, everything's going on. And my dad said, guys, like I have ALS, but I have two options. I can either, as Bob said, I can either hide in the house and have you guys deal with this, or I'm going to make a difference and I'm going to make a change. And so my dad decided, you know, how can I help ALS? And so what he did was, being the business mind that he is, he went out and tried to find, first he looked for care, and he found Ron Hoffman, which is Compassionate Care ALS. And he instantly formed a bond with Ron, and he asked Ron, so how can, like, who are the leaders of ALS who can help? And so he found there's 3 main people in Massachusetts. Massachusetts is obviously the mecca of medicine. There's every medicine there is there. And so what he did was, everyone told him that he couldn't do this, but knowing my dad is very stubborn and was like, I'm going to do this. And I remember he sat me down at the kitchen table one day, he was like, so in 6 months, I guarantee you that I'm going to make this happen. And what he explained was he wanted to get together Archie Colbridge of MGH, head of neurology at Harvard, and Bob Brown, who's a godfather of ALS from UMass Medical Center, and Steve Perrin, who's from TDI, and they're the largest medicine firm that just solely focuses on ALS. And so one day he got them all together in a room and said, guys, like how can we make a difference here? You guys are all, you noticed that all of them were working on separate things, but they're all similar, but they were all divided. And so my dad, being the businessman that he is, decided to say, why can't we work together and try to make a difference. And so he got them together for a meeting for about, supposed to be a half-hour meeting, and it ended up being a 3-hour meeting. And so, and then Dr. Brown, the godfather of ALS, was like, I can clear my calendar tomorrow, or next Monday, and we can all meet again. And they said, yeah. And so all of them met together, and they sort of came up with this idea to form ALS ONE. And ALS ONE is this idea that all people that work together in ALS will come together and work together to find a cure for ALS. And so everyone said this was not possible. And my dad was diagnosed with ALS in May, really came out with the public in July, and proud to announce this last January that he was able to bring all these people together to work as a team and commit to 4 years or less that they will find a cure for ALS, which is true. So I just want to say thank you guys so much, and anything can help. If you guys go to alsone.org, you guys can find how to help, and truly there's really no cure for ALS. When my dad was told that he had ALS, he was just told we can help you through the process, but there's really nothing we can do. So truly, if there's anything can help. If you guys check it out a little bit more and see videos of my dad, you guys will really be touched by this. And I truly thank you guys all so much for being here, and thank you so much. So, thank you. And if there's one thing my dad would say, it's that time is very precious, and so really enjoy your time that you have, because you never know how much time you guys have left, so really enjoy tonight. Thank you so much.
Listen, Scott kind of put it together there. So I've met his dad through Bobby and Steph, and just give me a couple more seconds. I met his dad through Bobby and Steph, and we kind of found out what ALS was, but hey, can we do it? And yes, we signed on as a business, and Radbones is going to do it, and Pete's going to do it. All our we kind of spread the word that way, because that's what his dad's trying to do. He's trying to get all these small businesses together and fund these doctors that he's putting in place. Which is just an amazing way to look at it, and to see a goal, and how we're going to fund the goal and get to it. And these guys are confident that they can hit it. But once I start kind of digging into what his dad's all about, the guy's inspirational like you can't believe. So Google it up. Sorry. Google it up and take a look, because the guy has a line in one of his talks, and it's what I'm saying. It's what I'm saying every time we're here. And it is, if you stand alone, you get stuck. When you come together, you can go far. So it's all about doing the right thing as a team. Keep it together, stay in one group, see a goal, turn to that guy next to you, and you know what? Again, we laughed about the person last year. Just fucking help him. Right? That's it. Mike Burns needs a fucking hand. Scott's Pop needs a fucking hand. We've got the Ice Bucket Challenge over here. You got great prizes. We throw some dough at the cause. Grab some raffle tickets from Mikey. And let's get it going. All right? I love you.